trying to smile through the fucking rain. Carrying secrets that damn near drove me insane. Lost my sunlight deep inside my shattered name. Chasing punk-ass dreams that never loved me the same. Had to slow down, hit the floor damn near broke. Life punched hard, felt the blood in every note. Found forgiveness, sitting quiet where the trees spoke. Found truth staring back to every part of me that broke. Yeah, I stumbled, but a real man rose. Came up swinging with the fire in my bones. Deep in my chest where the real shit grows. The boy I used to be still leads me through the low. I had to lose my fucking self to claim my soul. Had to let them jagged pieces make me whole. I've been walking down this long ass road trying to carry all the shit I should've let go. But it ain't 2009 no more. I finally found my way back home. Yeah, I'm breathing like a man again. Let the hurt fall off like a goddamn wind. No, it ain't 2009 no more, but I'm learning how to love again. Been fighting for a reason through them storms. Holding on to faith when my spirit wasn't warm. Every tear that dropped turned into a grown man's song. Every wrong I lived made me twice as fucking strong. Now I ride slow, sunlight all on my face. Moving like a king through this fast ass pace. I ain't perfect, but I'm holding my space. Trying to heal wounds time barely wanna race. If I met that young boy I used to be back then, I'd say stand the hell tall, you gon' win in the end. The road stay crooked, but your soul gonna sin. From the fire to the light, you gon' rise again. Ooh, I've been holding on, trying to right my fucking wrongs, but the past don't own me no more. Ooh, let that river flow, wash away the old. I'm stepping through a brand new door. Oh, stronger, harder, more defiant. I've been walking down this long ass road. Stronger, harder, more defiant. I've been walking down this long ass road. Stronger, harder, more defiant. I've been walking down this long ass road. Stronger, harder, more defiant. I've been walking down this long ass road trying to carry all the shit I should've let go. But it ain't 2009 no more. I finally found my way back home. I don't say everything I feel, but tonight I need you to hear this. It's so surprising how your mind moves me. The way you think, the way you see. You don't just talk, you speak with purpose. Every word got truth in it for me. The way you listen, the way you understand. You see my heart before I speak. You read between all of my silence. Know my strength and know my weak. Your wisdom showing how you love, and how you stand and how you grow. Your mind don't just inspire me, it makes me better than before. I fell for how your thoughts reach me, how your presence bring me peace. Loving you ain't just emotion. It's connection on a deeper read. When you walk in the room, I feel a shift. Every eye knows something different's here. The way you talk, the way you move your hips, got me leaning in, pulling me near. I love how you look at me with that smile, that playful stare that say you know. Your laugh hit me like a soft, slow groove, got me caught up in the way you glow. I love your curves, the way you shape for me, your breasts, your hips, your beautiful frame. The way your body fit right in my arms, got my heart and my focus changed. The way you dress, the way you own your style, every step you take got power in it. It's not just attraction, it's that fire you bring, got me wanting you and feeling it. You were there when the world felt heavy, when the good and bad both showed their face. Now that you're standing here beside me, sadness don't live in this space. Yeah. I love it when you're right here in my arms. Everything else fades into calm. Your love feels warm, it feels like home, a shelter from the storm. Anytime I'm breaking, anytime I'm unsure, your love is the cure. That's why I love your mind, body, and soul. DJ Urban T.
Yeah. You ever lose so much you stop feeling it? Then one day the blessings hit like a fucking hurricane. Yeah. I'm in that chapter now. I'm on the ride of my life. Hey. I'm on the ride of my life. I'm on the ride of my life. Everything tried to bring me, I told that shit not quite. Took every L, turned the pain into my highlight. Now doors open up for me like come inside. I'm on the ride of my life. Yeah.
Welcome to the lounge, where we challenge accountability. I'm Urban, and we don't do surface talk here. We use emotional intelligence, thought-provoking, mind in motion, truth be stirring, deep emotion, no filters, no faking. This here, thought-provoking. Every beat a question, every bar a lesson. I turn the mic to a mirror, life's a session. Urban in the mix, soul and intellect blend. We ain't just talk truth, we set trends from Dallas to the world. We break that ceiling, no clout, just facts, that's the real feeling. Thought-provoking, mind in motion, truth be stirring, deep emotion, no filters, no faking. This here, thought-provoking. Trap drums drop, but the message don't fade. Every thought sparks like a hand grenade. Faith, pain, love, and drive all collide, that's how minds revive. All collide, that's how minds revive. Thought-provoking, mind in motion, truth be stirring, deep emotion, no filters, no faking. This here, thought-provoking. Mind open wide like a city skyline. Every topic shaped by design. The urban lounge where ideas ignite. Late night thoughts under podcast lights. Every episode of thought design. The urban lounge where iron sharp iron. We build from the ground like truth rewiring. Can't fake what's felt when the mic's ignited. If you listening now, you already invited. Thought-provoking, mind in motion, truth be stirring, deep emotion, No filters, no faking. This here, thought-provoking.
Warning, the following image and or content may be disturbing, offensive to some viewers. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. Real quick community guidelines before we start the show. Now I want y'all to know that this is a space for respectable, thought-provoking conversations. We encourage intelligent discussions, different viewpoints, and respectable debates. Disagree if you want, but do it with substance and respect. Self-promotion is not allowed. This is not your billboard. Links, spam, and promotions in the comments or in live chat will be blocked immediately. Distasteful trolling, insults, or bad faith behavior will not be entertained. You will be blocked and banned. No warnings, no back and forth. Finally, y'all will notice that the subscriber mode is on. It is only for 5 minutes, y'all. 5 minutes. That way we can protect the integrity of the show and also protect the integrity of people who actually want to comment in the comment section faithfully, all right? We're here to think, challenge ideas, and grow, and not derail the conversation. If you're here in good faith, then I welcome you. Y'all enjoy the show. What up? Salute, y'all. Welcome to tonight's podcast episode. I am Urban. Man. Like always, we got another one, thought-provoking conversation that we're going to engage in tonight. Do me a favor, y'all. Do me a favor, man. We got 34 people in the building. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up, man. Just hit the thumbs up. Just double tap that screen real quick. It ain't going to take you long. Just click. And go ahead and give me a thumbs up for real, because once again, when you do that, it lets YouTube know that you want more of this thought-provoking conversation that we're delivering over here at the lounge. All right, so support your boy on that. You know what I'm saying? Like I always, I don't ask for anything else. I don't ask for super chats or anything like that. You know what I mean? Just help your boy out on that. All right, so appreciate it. Salute to everybody who are tuning in, watching me right now and catching the live stream, and also salute to everybody who are watching in the bushes, and salute to everybody who are catching the replay of this stream as well too. Thank you so much for tuning in into this episode. So tonight episode, we are going to cover an interview that Tyrese had did with Teddy Jakes. And y'all want to know what's interesting? What's interesting is that I don't call T.D. Jakes Bishop T.D. Jakes like other people do. The reason why I don't is because I honestly do not see him as a bishop at all. I really don't. No disrespect to, T.D. Jakes fans and the congregation and all this stuff. No disrespect, but me personally, I don't see T.D. Jakes as a bishop at all, period. I see him more as a celebrity than anything. So that's why I just call him T.D. Jakes. It is what it is. I remember when he first arrived here in my own city in Dallas with his church at the Potter's house, Back then, I consider him as a bishop. But now, not at all. Not at all. But it's neither here nor there. But T.D. Jakes has a podcast called the Next Chapter. And so he featured Tyrese on this particular podcast episode. So without further ado, y'all, we first go ahead and jump into this content. And I believe this podcast is like an hour long, so we got a lot of content that we got to uncover tonight. So let's go ahead and jump into this. And once again, make sure y'all hit thumbs up to support the channel. Also, y'all let me know what y'all think about this conversation. All right, let me know in the chat. I see that Thoughts of the Week podcast had commented. They say this: I think Tyrese would have been better off speaking on his own. I'm sure he would still gave some jewels without talking to Jakes. To be honest with you, I agree. Because by him talking to T.D. Jakes, it make this conversation seem more of a, I guess, spiritual, inspirational type thing, right? But if Tyrese were to just do this personally without nobody, I believe he'll be like, unhinged for real, but not in a bad way. I believe that he'll be like unhinged in a way where he'll start, saying a lot of red pill philosophy, dealing with the choices and decisions that he have made in his relationships. You know what I'm saying? Unhinged and unfiltered. But nevertheless, let's go ahead and react to this video. All right?
Next Chapter podcast. You've had many next chapters. You've had to turn the page many times and recreate yourself and expose different parts of yourself in order to have the longevity and the career that you've had, from author to R&B singer to actor to action actor to all the many, many things that we've seen you do. And it's not easy to be able to be a chameleon that can fit into various situations like that. What do you attribute that to?
If you've never met a person with blind faith, I'm right here.
All right.
No point of reference. See, I'm not the son of Berry Gordy.
Yeah.
Anita Baker is not my mother.
Right.
Gladys Knight. I was not raised in a house with executives and musicians and people. I wasn't raised by Will Smith.
Yeah.
I wasn't raised by Sidney Poitier.
Yeah.
Denzel is not my father. I wish he was, right? Because you're...
Hey, quick fun fact. The boots that Tyrese is wearing right now, I have them exact same boots. But the only difference is that mine is a little bit more lighter shade of brown than his.
Being raised in a house
Yes.
where it's not just the talent, it's the dialogue, it's the business, it's the understanding.
Yes.
It's all of the things that you would hope to say, well, if you're going to take this journey, you don't have to worry about being blindsided about what's around the corner before you get there, because mommy and daddy already had a conversation with you about the traps, the things to avoid.
Right.
Right. Giving you the heads up, like,
right.
And so blind faith, I cannot believe that's my resume. I cannot believe that I'm the first in my family to ever see or achieve or accomplish the things that God has had in mind for me. And the pressure that comes with being the only.
The pressure.
Is scary.
The pressure is scary. The pressure is real. Let me, before I ask you, I want to...
Salute to you. Real quick, do you want me to call you MH Hemp in the chat, or do you prefer for me to address you by another name? Either or, it's fine by me. But salute and welcome. And yeah, I seen Tyrese also at a Usher concert, because I took actually me and my wife, we had went to an Usher concert and Tyrese was there. I think it was almost like a year ago when we went. Maya, I bet. Maya it is.
follow down that trail, so hold that thought. We recently hooked up in Charleston, South Carolina,
yes, sir,
at a wedding. We've been knowing each other for years and years.
Yes, sir.
And we got together at the wedding at a pretty tough time in your life. You just lost your father.
Yeah.
And we were able to minister to you and encourage you. And I wondered in my mind, the guy who was sitting on the back of the bus drinking a Coke or a Pepsi or whatever it was and got discovered and entered into a career that was absolutely amazing never fully goes away. Money doesn't take that away. Grammys doesn't take that away. You have to live with who you were and who you are at the same time and learn how to make a homogeneous connection between the past and the present and the future. How do you do that?
I don't know.
Is it hard?
I've never heard it broken down in such a scientific way. Like, you just went boom, 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 and
you can't get rid of, my point is you can't totally dismiss your upbringing and your training, and there's a part of you that you learn how to survive in the world, in the streets, in the city.
Yeah.
And there's a part of you that had to learn how to survive in California, in Los Angeles, in the Hollywood scene. And there's a part of you that had to learn how to do business. And all of them come home with you at night.
Yes.
All of them.
Yes.
You didn't leave the guy on the bus. He's still there.
No.
And so a lot of people don't realize that. You get it?
Yes.
A lot of people don't realize it. So when you find yourself in a situation, it's which guy does the talking. Who's going to drive the car?
Yeah.
Is it going to be the guy from Philly? Is it going to be the guy from Hollywood? Is it going to be the writer? How do you manage that?
Well, I think of myself as a black octopus. My arms is in 30 different places, and they're all working at the same time.
At the same time.
And so I'm the head and I'm the heart, and then my arms is just everywhere. And we're doing things and trying to achieve things that are all happening in real time. And each project and each situation is in various different levels. And you don't want to lose sight of any of them.
Right.
And then what a blessing it's been that the singer has helped audition and set up the success of the actor.
Right.
And then the actor and the singer has given birth to the entrepreneur.
Yes.
And then the Coke kid is in the back of the bus.
Yeah.
And he's riding the wave.
Yeah.
I started this.
Yeah.
And I'm on the bus, and we got a lot of seats, and whatever version of Tyrese y'all end up seeing, we're all headed that way, and the bus is being driven by God.
My problem is all of my TD Jakes want to talk at the same time. And so it just depends on who asks me and what tone of voice you ask me and which one you're going to get.
So everything that Tyrese is explaining to you, right, is what I explain to the gentleman on this channel every single day. This is a example of a man living in his purpose, okay? Sure enough, he have a career, which is singing and acting, but his career is intertwined into his purpose as well, too. So this is what I mean when men supposed to be moving in their purpose. In other words, supposed to be focused on the Father's business, all right? But there's a but part about this. What failed Tariq throughout his years, right, is that while he was operating this purpose, he ended up coming around with different women. He never was taught to vet out these certain type of women to see if they would be a good fit for his purpose. He did what every typical male had done, including myself, which is look at beauty first, beauty second, sexual appeal, and lack sexual discipline. And ultimately, he ended up having sex with these women, ended up procreating with these women. A couple of them he ended up marrying, and now he's dealing with the issues that he's dealing with right now, which that's what he's going to reveal later on in this pod episode. But let's continue.
Yeah, and what environment I'm in. And I have to manage those people. The Apostle Paul said, when I would do good, evil is present with me, that which I would not do. I do, O wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from the body of this death, this sin, this human experience. And all of those people live with you. So you're in a mansion now. And you're eating something that you ate when you were back home, neck bones.
That's right.
Neck bones in a mansion.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Chitlins on China.
Yeah.
The unique experience we have as a people of having climbed up and been colored. We've been Negroes. We've been black. We've been darkies, we've been everything, to the point that there's sometimes an identity crisis, not just through us corporately, but individually in finding yourself. And I wonder, did anybody else ever feel that way?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, you're I've had so many moments in my life where I know that I had to dig deep within me, because the things that I have in mind for me, you realize that other people don't have them in mind for you.
Right.
And so when someone makes it clear, no, we don't have that in mind for you,
Yeah.
and I have it in mind for myself, it won't go away because this person or this room or this situation denied you of what you feel like belongs to you.
Yeah.
And so the appetite, the determination, it's the self-talk,
Yeah. Yes.
the self-motivation,
Yeah.
the speaking over yourself, the pouring over yourself,
There you
the you know, and the thing is, I want to say this, I've been really struggling with how to put words to this, because there's a chosen few that will hear a piece of this and decide it goes over their head. You know, selfish starts with the word self.
Uh-huh.
And they've made selfish and being selfish a negative. But most of us are giving, doing, showing up for people mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, psychologically, and we're overextending ourselves and giving of ourselves, and we're depleted, and we're tired, and we're sick, and we're wiped out, and we got nothing left for ourselves.
Unappreciated.
And they don't care to notice.
Yeah, they don't care.
They don't. I'm here to get what I'm here to get.
Right.
And even if I wipe you completely out.
Yeah.
And so I have allowed myself to be more selfish and focus on me and say, I'm not returning that text or that call because I don't have the time or the bandwidth to be on the receiving end of what you're about to dump on me.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen in the chat, first question for tonight. Do you agree with what Tyrese is saying? Do you agree with that we need to start operating on a more selfish mentality for us, our life? Y'all let me know in the comment section. But I'm going to want to share you my perspective. What he's saying, and I agree with him. Because when you hear the word selfish, right, or selfishness, it always come off as a negative connotation. The reason why is due to religious belief. I'll put you there with a lot of religious belief teach you to be selfless, where you always sacrificial, you always sacrifice yourself no matter what. That sounds good in hindsight, but when you deal in reality, I believe in order for you to be the best version for not only yourself and also to serve people, you first have to learn how to serve yourself. Because that's where it starts, with yourself. So absolutely you should be selfish. You should be focused on yourself, building yourself, and continue to focus on yourself. And to top it off, right, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that boundaries are very, very important, because the higher you go into your purpose, right, the more you're going to have to set boundaries. Because if you don't set boundaries, then people will come and invade yourself. And just like what Tyrese said, that they will deplete you. And guess what? They're not going to be there to replenish you. They're just going to keep moving about their own business. So yeah, you should be selfish. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, and then, especially when you know what the phone call is going to be about.
Right.
So now you got to say, I'm not going to give you emotional access to me.
David, salute.
Because you're going to change the energy of my day. So I'm going to make the selfish decision to say, if I want my day to be better, it's not going to include you.
Right. You will not want to miss as he shares his personal experience with grief and losing parents. You know, when you talked about
Hope they don't copyright that
somebody like
music. Shit.
Denzel was not your father, you didn't grow up in an environment where you had a model to fit where you ended up.
A blueprint, a model,
no
yes.
blueprint, anything like that. I think every man and probably every woman yearns to have in their parents some sort of shape, measurement, pattern, blueprint of what they're going to and what they're going to be. We look from that from our father.
Yes.
My father got sick when I was 10. He died when I was 16. I realized when I was 30 that as I wept for him, I was weeping for me. I recognized that I wasn't just weeping at the loss of him, I was weeping at the questions I didn't have answered. At the things that I didn't have resolved. You know, did you really love me? What did you really think of me? You never got to see me win. When you lost your father, it's part of the pain coming from inside your own house.
This is what's interesting. When my father passed away, rest in peace to that brother, to that man. I went to St. Louis to see him, stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Life was riddled with alcoholism and crack cocaine and just never quite got his hands around figuring it out. And I said to him, I just want you to know I forgive you. And I wanted him to know why. I said, I forgive you for not being there to protect me, for not giving me the heads up of what's around the corner. I don't know that he would have been anybody that would have changed my life in business or changed my life. You know, I don't know that my father was ever a Barry Gordy that could sit me down and say, son, don't sign that deal and here's why.
Yeah.
But I said to him, I forgive you. And then I realized that if my mother, rest in peace, messed my life up with the 27 years of alcohol, the verbal, emotional, psychological, and physical abuse, and all of the abuse that was in my house, and it's still affecting me to this day, if I had my mother and my father at the same house, I probably wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
So I said, I forgive you, because just maybe God removed you out of the house.
Right.
Because I would have been a crackhead.
Yeah.
I would have been verbally and physically abusive to my mother the way you were.
Yeah.
There was other men that came in my house that ended up doing it to my mother ultimately. And so I was introduced to love, and I was raised to believe that this is what love is. Love is not kind.
Yeah.
Love is not gentle.
Yeah.
Love is verbally abusive. Love is physically abusive.
Yeah.
Love is all of these things that I was raised in. And so I would always find myself gravitating towards women that I would be fighting and arguing, being dysfunctional with.
Right.
And anybody else, that any other version of love that I was in the presence of felt soft. It felt boring.
Yeah.
You ain't arguing?
Yeah.
Well, she must don't love you if you ain't willing to fight and argue. And so I had to say to him, thank you for removing yourself from my life, because if the crack cocaine and the alcoholism and everything that you were doing, that would have all been an impression that you would have made on my life that as a grown man, I would have still been deeply hurt by and affected by, because I would have been raised by another level of trauma.
Right.
So as an example, you know, people love to look at you, Bishop Jakes, and say, look at him in the mega church.
Yeah.
Look at him, what he's driving, what he's living in. Look at him with his wife, and look at him with his daughter, who's now out there on stage changing lives. And Serita Jakes, who I'm so proud of, and I know you are.
Yeah.
And but they always look at the fruits and the outcome.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even if you make them aware of the strife and the struggles and the stuff that the family had to navigate through. When you mentioned, you know, I remember I was preaching and I only had 17 people in front of me.
Yeah.
They have no concept of really wrapping their heads around that, because the version of Jakes, Bishop Jakes, that they're looking at is on the grounds of 40 books and mega church and where you are now.
Yeah. And they trap you in how they met you.
That's
they don't recognize you wrote 42 books. They don't recognize that you sold $500 million worth of movies. They want to put you in a place where they can assault you with their implications of you.
Yeah. And you are how I met you.
Yeah, you are how I met you, and you are who I met you.
Right.
And that's what I meant earlier when I was talking about, you know, you have to live with that guy who grew up in that volatile home. He's still in there.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And money didn't take him away.
No.
And movies didn't take him away. And books didn't take him away. He's still there, bottled up somewhere inside.
Yes.
And then this unresolved issue, which I can relate to. My father wasn't an alcoholic, but I can relate to an unresolved issue with your father. It's complicated. And let me ask you this. At what point, or did you have a moment that you recognized that you were an orphan?
Before Tyrese answered that question, because I knew it was going to go into him getting into the foster care system, I can relate to Tyrese's story. The only difference is that my parents wasn't, involved with heavy drugs and alcoholism. Wait a minute. My father was involved with heavy alcoholism, right? And the reason why is because he was an Army veteran. When he came back from serving his country, that war that he was a part of had did something to him mentally, and it made him see reality different. You know what I'm saying? You could call it PTSD or whatever the case may be, right? But it literally warped his mindset. It warped his reality into this new form of reality. When he returned, he wasn't present in me and my young siblings' life at all. He was dismissive. He was drinking all the time. He was abusive towards my mother during that time. And then one day, he ended up having a breakthrough where he felt that he needed to now be present in our life. And so it took him time, and eventually he ended up changing his life around. He ended up getting help through his addiction, right? He ended up believing in God. He became saved. He ended up becoming a preacher. That before he passed away, he was a Baptist assistant pastor. So I can relate to Tyrese and the toxicity that he was dealing with. And I want y'all to consider this too. Imagine y'all going through your whole entire life dealing with something that we perceive as toxic, right? Looking from the outside lens, but to him, this is just normal everyday life. To him, this is how the way it's supposed to be. Hence, when he was talking about, hey, y'all version of love is different from my version of love. My version of love deal with toxic behavior. Your version of love deal with this whole, rainbow and clouds and all this other stuff. But the thing about it is that that's people's immediate reality. I'm gonna go into more details and I'll explain to you about the work that I used to do when I used to be a social worker, because I used to mentor and counsel people such as Tyrese with this behavior, especially when I was in the foster care system. But I'm gonna go into more detail about that later on in the show. But before we continue, y'all, hey, we got about what are we looking at? About 56 people, probably more than that. Do me a favor, y'all. Make sure y'all thumbs up this show, because how the way this show is going to be very informal, for real. It's going to be very informative. It's going to be very informational as well, too. And it's going to help a lot of people, for real. We can look at it as entertainment, that's fine. But also, this is going to be a very, very strong, thought-provoking episode, for real. So do me a favor. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up to support this channel, support this stream, all right? Let's continue.
Yeah. That hit me a month ago.
And how did that feel?
The idea of being an orphan was something that we seen on television, documentaries,
Right.
specifically throughout Africa.
Right.
You know, like, oh, there's this village of kids that are orphans
Yeah.
because their mother and father died of HIV, AIDS,
Yeah.
or, you know, a bunch of bad guys came in and killed a bunch of people, and
Right.
now here's these foundations raising kids as orphans.
Right.
And so when they delivered my father's ashes to my house, and I was able to put my father's ashes next to my mother's ashes, I said, my mother and father haven't lived under the same roof since they divorced.
Wow.
And now they're here. My mother and my father never even made it to my house that I've been living in Atlanta for 9 years.
Wow.
So this is their first time living under the same roof with their son. And then I thought, well, at least they're here.
Yeah.
And then I'm a bit of a junkie for the sense of humor of God. So I'm thinking to myself, my mother and father are finally under the same roof with their baby boy.
Yeah.
Right? And my mother died on Valentine's Day after giving birth to an R&B singer. If you're not booked to do any concerts throughout the year as a singer, you're likely going to get booked on Valentine's Day.
Right.
And so there's a sense of humor in that. And then I always have my mother and father's ashes. I don't always announce it to everybody, but every meeting and conversation that I have, I always have my mother and father's ashes in the room with me, because I want them to know how proud I am of them for doing the best they could. And
When
then
nobody's around, do you ever talk to them?
yes, I do.
It's a form of therapy.
Yeah, I always say, Mama, I don't know what's about to happen, but they pulling up right now, and just cover me.
Yeah.
I know you was always a praying mama, and I know you still with me, Mom. So just pray for me. I might not have the words in this meeting,
Right.
but I want it to be something. And then the biggest thing is I don't have it all figured out, Dad.
Yeah.
I don't. And that scares me.
Yeah.
So his conversation about him having his parent ashes in her, due to my spirituality, right, I don't subscribe to that. Now, the reason why I personally don't subscribe to that is because I believe that when a person or a human being, once when their life is over, I believe in releasing them from this life, period, with everything. So in this situation, since he had their ashes and stuff, right, what I would have done was release their ashes like into the ocean or whatever, and that way it would signify that they're finally free. You know what I'm saying? Now, I understand the concept that it's therapeutic for him because he really didn't have that relationship with his parents. You know what I'm saying? And so now he's using that to gain the relationship that he never had with them. Understandable. But at the end of the day, when it comes to evolution, right, when it comes to growth as well too, It have to be a point in time where you have to just release things and finally just let it go and move on. Because sometimes when you constantly hold on to the past like that, the past have a real strange way of preventing you from moving forward in your present and your future. You know what I'm saying? But once again, that's me.
Chapter 3. You may not even know what to name it, but you may be feeling it. It's called survivor's remorse.
What God is doing right now, I've always had this big appetite for success, never driven by money, driven by impact. Mm-hmm. And what God is doing right now with visions and ideas and dreams and the things that keep me up at night, I've had this thing in my mind, and God, when you pray, I always say, pray specific prayers so that God can specifically bless you and cover you for the things that you're vulnerable about.
Yeah.
And so I'm in a place right now where I am sure that God is about to take me into these levels and this level of stratosphere in my career. And I don't feel prepared for what God is about to do, even though I know he's about to do it.
Right.
So now I'm on this mission where I'm saying, I am very specific about, I got to surround myself with people to cover me spiritually.
Right.
With the wisdom and the knowledge and the blueprint, and pour into me to say, okay, let's not talk about the wins and what happens. Talk about the moments where you almost wanted to give up.
Yeah.
Talk about the moments where you had to push through the trauma and the stress and the press or the social media attacks or the accusations or talk about how you got through that. What prayer did you pray to get through that? Because I say this in my own way respectfully, I feel like where I love you, Bishop, is you have always been transparent about the moments that you wanted to quit and give up and the struggles, because it's almost like survival's remorse, right? Where it's like everybody looks at me as being so successful, and all I want to do is make y'all aware of how hard and how challenging it has been and how challenging it gets. And you feel this overwhelming sense of wanting to really break it all down. And breaking it all down ultimately gives folks permission to say, okay, I could achieve it. People are focused on the net worth and the plane and the shiny building and how big the church is. But
I have a plan. Go ahead.
Yeah, so facts, I agree with him on that. I agree. Just like in my situation, right? I'm very untransparent about the things that I had dealt with, you know what I'm saying, like in my prior relationships. And the reason why I do it is because my goal is to help men who probably either experiencing the same thing or may experience it, right, and give them guidance and directions to how to navigate through that. Because that's why I believe that's what's missing in this space. We're missing the true, authentic, red pill philosophy. You know what I'm saying? That will help us as men to grow. So once again, that's why I be transparent and share with y'all my struggles and let y'all know that, hey, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all. I dealt with a whole lot of stuff. I dealt with red pill rage. Those of y'all who don't know what red pill rage is, I did a whole show explaining it and breaking it down, you know what I'm saying? But I dealt with that red pill rage. I dealt with anger, hatred, everything in relationships, you know what I mean? But it's ultimately so I can free others so they won't experience the same thing I'm doing, so they can move with purpose.
Go ahead. Maybe that's prophetic. Maybe somebody will hear that and send me a big red bow. Big red ball. Okay.
I welcome it.
Yeah.
He welcomes it. Yes. So there's people that think of survivor's remorse when they think of that, and it's usually like, my friend died and we were in the same car and I survived, and so there's survivor's remorse.
Right.
But the other version of survivor's remorse is I'm more successful than everybody in my family.
Yeah, I knew you when. I knew you when. You ain't all of that.
Yeah.
I knew you when you were da-da-da-da-da-da. You know, there's a scripture in the Bible that says, I will give you treasures in the darkness. And at first I thought we made it in life in spite of adversity. Now I think we made it because of adversity. If there had not been tension, there would be no muscles, okay? If there had not been obstacles, if there had not been something to prove, if you hadn't felt invisible, you wouldn't have screamed out, I'm over here, see me, here.
Facts. And this old saying that people say all the time, pressure creates diamonds. At least that's what it's supposed to do. But in order for it to happen, you got to allow the process to happen. Right? What ended up happening with us, gentlemen, is this. We when that pressure started happening with us, some of us be too hyper emotional to even deal with it and to cope with it. And guess what we do? We end up losing out, end up giving up way too soon. That's facts.
Hear me, feel me. That those sorts of things become of paramount importance. And also, I wanted to say to you, because you said something, I think it's on Facebook or on social media somewhere, where you talked about my wife and I talking about marriage and how it helped you. So I see you.
Yeah.
I see you.
That was like almost 35 years ago.
Yeah.
It's
I think God gives us surrogate fathers and mothers to replace what we didn't have.
Yes.
Chapter number 4, finding the right partner. Oh yeah, you want to get this. What was that like 35 years ago to get some counsel as if I were talking to you, even though I were talking to a screen?
You were talking to me.
Yeah.
I seen it on YouTube, but you were talking to me.
Yeah.
And that is why we love you, and we are so moved by you and your transparency. The way you unpacked that conversation and dialogue and went into specifics about the working, functioning dynamics
Yes.
of your marriage.
Yes.
And then whenever your wife spoke,
Yes.
I mean, to see you sit back,
me.
it's, okay, like,
Yeah.
she's speaking, you know, it was just really like, wow, you know, to just feel like this alpha, strong, dominant kind of man of God sits back and he holds his wife at such a high level of regard. So when she speaks, you disappear.
Yeah.
And you want nobody to be focused on you while the queen is speaking.
Exactly.
Oh, it was, yeah.
She is leather and lace. And don't let the lace fool you. Don't let the lace fool you. Recently, when I went through that health malady and I had a heart attack, my wife never left me for 3 days or nights. She never left my side. Every time I woke up, she was staring at me. She has a tenacity. She had just gotten over a knee surgery. We were dealing with all of those things at the same time. What was really amazing, she paid her knee no mind. She hadn't walked on a cane or a walker or anything since. When I collapsed on that stage, she ran over to where I was. She is leather and lace. So when I sit back, one of the greatest one of the greatest choices we get to make in life is who we are going to partner with.
My God.
And that choice needs to be taken real seriously, because you're going to be in the foxhole with that person.
Yes.
And you need to know that when hell breaks loose, they're going to be there. They're going to be back to back and shoulder to shoulder with you. And you're going to be comfortable with that closeness, you know.
The vulnerability.
Yeah, because all of us bring baggage.
Yeah.
All of us had a bus moment. All of us came out of some sort of pit or hole or trouble. Even wealthy, successful people, we have a tendency to think that if people went to Ivy League schools and if they went to private schools, they had no trauma. That's not true.
No.
Trauma knocks on every door.
Yes.
And when you get your trauma and my trauma mixed together, they either find a way to fit together and it becomes a key and a lock, or they clash together and we spend the next 10 years fighting each other like we're in the Vietnam War.
Y'all see why it is very important for you to vet out the right person. Once again, it is very, very important for you to vet out the right person. And this is why I keep reiterating this over and over again, preferably with the men, is that we have to get over this mindset that we look at beauty and continue to look at beauty without looking at the character of that woman. But the only way we're going to get past that is that we need to be disciplined for real. We need to be trained. We need to be trained how to vet out properly the type of woman that's going to be of value, of service in your life. But how that's going to happen is that it have to be other brothers like myself and other brothers out there that are willing to go through the fire and teach you how to do this, because a lot of men do not know how to do this. A lot of men don't know how to vet out the woman. I was one of them. I didn't know no earthly idea how to vet out a woman, because I was doing the same thing what every other man been taught to do, which is look at the beauty of the woman, look at her, she's fine and sexy, and I want to smash. We all did that. Every last one of us. T.D. Jakes, he said this too. He was saying about his health scare, right, where he had his heart attack. I actually did a reaction video when it happened. One thing that I didn't like when other people was doing reaction videos, and this preferably people who were like Christians or whatever and stuff, right, who had a disdain for T.D. Jakes, right? They'll sit up here saying that, hey, this is God's judgment on T.D. Jakes. God is judging T.D. Jakes now and in his health and all kind of crazy shit, man. That's bullshit. I don't agree with that at all, period. That is horrible. That is horrible. And if you were participating in that thing, yeah, I'm calling you out. That was some bullshit, and that was very horrible for you to say a thing like that. Now, there may be some things that I don't agree with for us, the decision making of T.D. Jakes, you know what I'm saying? But when it comes down to a human life, you know what I'm saying, I'm all on board for the protection and preserve of a human life, period. So I have sympathy and empathy for anyone who goes through a type of traumatic situation like that. And to be quite honest with you, we all should have that sympathy and empathy towards each other too. On the real though. But let's continue. Once again, y'all, those of y'all who are tuning in, we are reacting to the interview that T.D. Jakes is doing with Tyrese. Now Tyrese is explaining about relationships. T.D. Jakes is also explaining about his relationship dynamics with his wife. We got roughly about 120 people in here right now. Well, more than 150 now. So make sure y'all, make sure that y'all double tap that screen and hit that like to support the stream so y'all can get more of this thought-provoking conversation, all right? And those of y'all who are not sub up to this channel, please sub up to this channel so you can participate in the chat, because I want to hear y'all perspective as well too, well, if you agree with it or disagree with it, okay? So let's continue.
How did you know?
That's a good question. That's a good
Because and my question is coming from this place. I've been married and divorced twice. My divorce, sadly, is played out for the world to see. child support, baby mama drama on full display. I'm
Right.
almost like the poster child at this point. And I've been proud to be able to speak up and speak out about, you know, family law, court system. And if you were born a man, you walk in the courtroom, they've already had a preset menu as to what the outcome of this situation is going to be. It does not matter what you say or do or how fancy your lawyer is. But how many relationships were you in that allowed for you to say, okay, well, that was not it, and then that one was not it, and then when you got to the presence of your wife, how did you know she was the one?
Well, first of all, I was a Christian. I had the Holy Spirit. I had the inkling. That doesn't mean I floated around the room and had halos over my head. I was a man, okay. I used to tell my wife, there's a man up under this robe, okay? But the reality is, there is a knowing that is spiritual. And this is what you know. It's not she's fine, though she is. It's not her voice, though she's got the voice of velvet. It is that we will always be friends.
Hey, real quick, y'all. Those of y'all who don't believe in Christian ideology, you don't believe in the Holy Spirit or anything like that, right? So let me give you a different perspective about that, all right? So you could equate the Holy Spirit the same way you could equate it to having a discernment, okay? You could equate it to having a discernment. You could equate it to what I was saying earlier about learning how to proper vet a person, okay? But let's continue.
That I will always be for you. That you will always be for me. I might screw up, you might mess up, we might go through hell, we might be on a dialysis machine, but if you're on a dialysis machine, I will have your back. That feeling of connection, especially when you grew up without it,
Yes, sir.
it becomes extremely important to know that you're not connected to my job, my career, my name, my money, my fortune, my education, my intellect, or whatever it is, that you really are into me. And the problem is when you've never had that, a lot of times you will repel it because you're not used to it.
Wow.
You will repel it and give it up for somebody who fights, like you said, and give it up for somebody who gives conflict, because we tend to be creatures of habit and recreate situations that we grew up in because we're at home in hell. If you were born in hell, when you go to hell, you're at home. Okay, so the first thing that has to be broken, and you have to break this, is the hell you were birthed in. And when you break out of that and you finally decide that I deserve to be loved, and I deserve to be treated well, and I deserve to have good things in my life, and you stop self-sabotaging anybody who cares about you because you have this inner conflict going on that they had nothing to do with, but they inherited when they got you. When you get real with you and you find somebody who will sit there and listen at you and talk you down and get you together. And no, I'm not talking to the star. I'm not talking to the actor. I'm talking to the guy on the back of the bus, because he's still in there. Whoever marries you marries all 9 versions of you.
Praise God.
Yeah, because you can't act all the time. Pretty soon you have to take off the mask with no lines. You have to be who you are, who you really are. And finding somebody who can embrace all sides of you, and then learning the language to be able to explain yourself to the person who is confused by your behavior. When you learn the language to say, I know this is crazy about me, and I may not always be this way, and I may outgrow it. But when you do such a thing, it scares me.
It triggers me.
It triggers me. Yeah, that's what therapy gives you, is language.
Yes.
It doesn't always give you cures, but it does give you language.
Let me verbalize what I'm feeling.
Yeah, because until you verbalize it, you can't get it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I have some pushback on this, all right, because everything that T.D. Jakes is saying, this sounds good, it sounds great. That's what makes him a great motivational speaker and inspirational, right? But however, my pushback is this. How will you be able to get a person like Tyrese, right, who once again, his whole ideology is being like this since he was young? His whole worldview is this. His whole worldview is the toxicity, right? But people from the outside view it as toxic. But him on the other end, right? He don't see it as toxic at all. Period. He see it as a normality. So my question is this. How will he be able to get Tyrese to transition to see that in reality, his worldview is toxic, even though he believed that it's not toxic? This is one of these techniques that I had to learn when I was in social work, okay? When I was dealing with people with traumatic experiences, they had a certain type of lifestyle and they was born and grafted into this lifestyle. Then you have to show them something different. You know what I'm saying? And this is what I did. I did this. I let them know that I accepted their worldview. First of all, I let them know I accept it and I respect where they at. I didn't vilify them at all, period. Then in the process of me doing that, right, that's when I start showing, my personal worldview, stuff like, hey, this is how the way I perceive it to be is this, that, and that. When I do that, right, I'm not manipulating that person. I'm not saying that person is evil. What I'm doing is offering them a choice, giving them a different perspective about the situation. Something that they may never consider. You know what I'm saying? Now, it's up to them to consider that maybe this is something that I need to try out or whatever. If they do that, fine. If not, fine. But sometimes being in the position of being an inspirational speaker and a motivational speaker and also, being like a pastor or stuff, right? Sometimes they end up losing that disconnect with people who are like that, you know what I'm saying? And it become very difficult for them to really gravitate and pull them in how the way they need to be pulled in. But let's continue.
It's festering.
Thank you for the bronze. Thank you.
You got me counseling with
No. This is. I came here just for this.
You feel it?
Oh my God!
You feel it?
One of the things I want you to know, that I'm like literally inspired by, and I can speak for me and everybody when it comes to you and your first lady. The level of regard that y'all have for each other. The level of nurturing and like while you're preaching, your wife is at full attention.
Yeah.
As if she didn't just arrive with this man that's up here preaching and she ain't going home with this man preaching. Right. She's on the front row on high alert. Like it doesn't feel like neither one of you guys have allowed yourself to get too familiar.
No.
And there's such a honor and decency and respect and covering around that. And so what you just shared about when you had that moment on stage and she had just had her own knee surgery and every time you open your eyes, she was awake. I'm not even surprised.
She threw that cane and ran out to meet me. She ran out, and I give her the credit.
Not surprised.
Generally when you get married, one of you is gifted and the other is crazy. I'm the crazy one. I'm the crazy one. But there's got to be somebody stable who's consistent.
Yeah.
But most creative people are a little bit weird, okay? Mm-hmm. And so that creativity that makes you walk into an empty room and see it with brick on the wall and stone on that wall and this painted over here, that creativity, that imagination works for and against you.
Praise God.
Yeah, it gives you an idealism that it's hard for people to reckon with because my wife can't see it till it's there. I can walk into a dump and see a palace.
Wow.
I'm going to put the pool over there. I'm going to put this over here. I'm going to do, you know, I got it in my head what I'm going to do. I dress
see the
myself.
Unseen, yes.
Yeah, I can see, I know how I want it to go. So opposites attract, but the very thing that attracts you later repels you because their steadiness starts to feel like boring. And your excitement starts to feel like wow. And if you make it over that hurdle, if you make it over the hump, I figured out that we're losing each other in the turns of life. If you make it over menopause and midlife crisis and make it over surgeries and make it over grief and make it over accidents, that grief you went through, that's got side effects.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's like
the only person the only person experiencing that is the person that's intimately with you every single day.
Every day, and all the versions of you and how it expresses itself in anger and fear and tears. And can you afford to break down and still be respected in the morning? Those are the kinds of things we got to do. But I got to get through this because
I wanted to say one last thing, if you don't mind.
Say it if you want.
I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you. I want you to know how often I actually pray for you.
Thank you.
And I'm saying thank you because you have literally changed this place. You have decided, and God has been so present over your life. You have been a vessel. The messages that got your cell phone tower into Jesus is so strong. I'm sure that at this point, when you get out on stage and you speak, you probably have a couple of bullet notes on the topic, and everything that happens in between them bullet notes, you're channeling in real time on stage. And everybody in the audience leaves a very different person than they showed up as, because you have allowed God to speak through you and display the fullness of you, the good, the transparency, the challenges, the ups, the downs. Even your daughter having a child at a young age. I mean, what do we do? And you have reinvented yourself over and over and over in front of us. And I want you to know that I pose this question all the time.
Okay. All right. I'm ready. I'm ready. Chapter number 5, material possessions. Are they all they're cracked up to be? Let's see what Tyrese has to say.
When I speak of
All right, before we get to this next segment, y'all, once again, I appreciate everybody who's tuned into the stream right now. We are reacting to Tyrese. He's been interviewed by T.D. Jakes. They're having a very, very good conversation. I'm actually enjoying this a whole lot. I don't know about y'all, but I'm enjoying this a whole lot. But before we continue, y'all, we got just about 300 people in here right now, and y'all enjoying this content. And I appreciate y'all enjoying it with me as well too. But however, I do need y'all help. Those of y'all who are here right now, all I need you to do is go ahead and double tap that screen, and so you can go ahead and like this stream, because once again, when you do that, it allows YouTube to push this show through the algorithm so you can get more of this thought-provoking conversation, y'all. So go ahead and support me on that. Once again, I'm not the type of person that try to ask for money or anything like that, super chats or anything like that. Now, if you want to do it, I'm not stopping you, but the bare minimum is at least just double tap that screen, man. Just double tap in and show that you're enjoying this thought-provoking content, all right? So without further ado, let's go ahead and get back into this and see what Tyrese had to say about material possessions.
In front of folks, I say,
thank y'all so much. I appreciate y'all.
Can anybody in here that's behind the cameras in this interview, can anybody in here right now, if you know, what was the net worth of Dr. Martin Luther King when he was assassinated? Can anybody tell me what was in his bank? Don't Google it. Don't chat GPT. Anybody know? No hands. What was the square footage of Dr. Martin Luther King's house when he was assassinated.
Thank you for the torch. Appreciate
the
you.
day he died. What was the rim size on his car? Anybody know the brand of car he was driving or how many cars he had? Okay. So in my mind, we are not here to inspire people from materialistic possessions, our net worth, what we drive in, the square footage of our house. We are here to empty ourselves of everything that we can to give people permission to be great, to pull them up, to pour into them, to activate something inside of them that could give them purpose, to pour into a prison inmate and say, I'm gonna get out of here one day and I'm gonna decide to be great when I get out of here because Bishop T.D. Jakes showed up with the prison ministry and poured into me. What God has done through you, through it all, I just have to say thank you.
I often have a saying, the real message that I bring to you is that God can do so much with so little. Honestly, that's the story, that he can do so much with so little, that everybody is eligible, because if he could use me, he could use anybody, okay? I honestly, trust me, this is truth before God. If he could, you know how our grandmothers and great grandmothers could make cornbread without eggs and then take powdered milk and make pancakes, stuff like that. That's what he did. He took nothing. He took mud and made a man. And he's still shaping, and he's still forming, and he's still blowing, and he's still breathing. And the reason that I am a Christian is not because I have perfected being Christ-like. It is that my only hope of being formed into something usable was the nostrils of the God that breathed the breath of life into me. So please know that. Please know that I am not this exceptional person. I had the same pain, trauma, life, crisis, confusion that you do. Same exact thing.
But you're able to verbalize it.
I can verbalize it.
And that gift of verbalizing it.
Yes.
But understanding, if we're talking about a teleprompter, go read those same words on that teleprompter, and I promise it won't have the same impact.
It will not have the same.
If Bishop T.D. Jakes were to read those
Because
words.
I am in touch with myself.
Praise God.
I am definitely in touch with all parts
That oil.
of myself. And most people lie to themselves, and they present the version of themselves they wish they were. And they're not in touch with all of themselves. So you can't do a 360 if you're determined to be a 180. Chapter number.
So before we get to this next point, I am so excited and glad that they were expressing this in this way. Those of y'all who was here last night for the podcast, right? I was speaking about purpose, okay? And I say this, there's a difference between you walking in your purpose versus survival. All right. And the reason why I mentioned that because one of the gentlemen in the chat was giving me, scenarios about survival. Basically one of the gentlemen was saying he believed that his only purpose on this earth for him is to get up, go to work, go to sleep, and do it all over again. Ultimately, that's what he was saying. And so I was sharing the reality that no, that's not purpose, that's survival. See, when you are operating in your purpose, it's different. Now, if you notice, how Tyrese and T.D. Jakes was giving out this energy as they was expressing themselves, that's how you can tell that the things that they're doing, it is their purpose. They're operating in their purpose. Or some people who are spiritual, they say operating in your calling or in your gift. All of that intertwines together into one. It all means the same as that thing. Case in point, when I do my YouTube, right, when I coming on here right now speaking to y'all, right, I don't do it because I'm trying to survive to do it. I do it because I enjoy doing it. I enjoy coming on here. I enjoy coming on here, throw my clothes on, put my glasses on, put on this mic and just give y'all a show. I enjoy doing that because this is my particular purpose that I enjoy doing. So the question I want to ask y'all tonight, those of y'all who are viewing, what is your purpose? What is something that you are just so passionate about that you just want to do all the time, regardless if you make money to do it or not? You just enjoy doing it. Do you know the difference between your purpose and your passion versus just doing things out of survival? If you don't know, I want to challenge y'all to go back and reevaluate yourself and see what you're doing and see how the way you're living your life. Because we all got one life to live, man. And I don't want y'all to want to live this whole entire life without you ever discovering what your purpose is in life. But let's continue.
6 gets real personal when he starts to talk about a public divorce. Can you imagine? Dion and Tyrese's daughter, your daughter living with you, I understand Dion tweeted something in response to fathers raising daughters that impacted you. Have you ever talked to Dion about raising kids after a divorce and being a single father?
Yes, we've had conversations. There's a lot of single fathers, a lot of single mothers. Mm-hmm. And so what's always interesting for me is I know what I want to talk to my daughter about. Mm-hmm. I struggle with when. Mm-hmm. Right? So when you know that certain things are being said about you, when you know that you're being put in a certain light, when you know what's being written in court documents that will end up being posted on TMZ,
right?
You have to live with that. And now social media and people and their comments, my goal is, okay, this is what's being said, but I just got to figure out when I'm going to have the conversation with my daughter, because I got to mentally, emotionally, physically, and psychologically protect you. And so we've been having a lot of fun with the stuff that looks a certain way. And then once I do my part as a father and I set her down, I had these conversations, then she looks at things through a totally different lens.
And real quick, and we'll continue. When I had the conversation with my children, when we was going through the divorce with their mother, that was the hardest thing that I ever had to explain to them. Very tough. Very tough, because ideally children expect for their parents to be together forever. They expect for their parents to live in this fairy tale reality, but when the true reality hits, then it is what it is.
There's nothing like loving a daughter that changes how you handle a woman.
Wow.
There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it that your girlfriend is somebody's daughter, that your wife is somebody's daughter. You don't really get it until you have a daughter and allow that daughter to speak into your life. Now, I don't want to put you on the spot. I'm very protective of people. If you know anything about me at all, I'm extremely protective of people. But I understand you had a conversation with Holly Berry about divorce and about child support. As much as you are comfortable with talking about that, can you share something with me?
Yeah, well, what I said to her, it was on my Instagram. I posted it.
Okay.
And so it is public knowledge what I posted. But it was actually on the topic, most recently, it was about her saying that her current better half has been asking her to marry her because they've been together for a while now, and she has been struggling with the idea of ever, allowing herself to marry again. And I said, well, I could relate to that. I've been in a relationship now with my lady Zelly for 5 years, and she's always hinting at marriage. And some people will say, oh, you're a Band-Aid, you're just filling in the blanks. And, at a certain point, he's going to dispose of you and then go find the woman that he actually wants to marry. But people don't understand is that your opinion is formulating from things that you have never experienced.
Right.
You don't know what it's like to wake up, get married, have a prenuptial agreement in place, have the prenup to get cracked, where you end up paying all of her legal fees and
Facts.
my legal fees.
Facts.
And now I'm paying all this money to attorneys trying to protect what I have. And then you realize that somebody marries you and then they said, I don't want to be here
Nani, what's up,
anymore.
bro?
And then they trying to take everything that belongs to you with them. And it is really a painful process. And so, well, hey, if we could be happy and we could be together and we could not get married, because if you ever decide that you don't want to be married anymore, now you're going to be another person trying to take everything that I've worked my butt off for the last 30 years. And what does that look like? And how long is this going to last before the judge decides this is my final judgment? So everything about my last divorce took 4.5 years. I lost all of my appeals in the lower courts. Then I lost all of my appeals in the Supreme Courts. And so I had like 3 weeks to cough up almost $1.2 million that I did not have to give. Mm-hmm. And then who do I turn to?
Right.
When I'm financially depleted.
Right.
I was doing all right financially until this divorce turned into 4.5 years.
I got this calculator in my head that's adding up all the trauma we have talked about. And it's smoking. It's smoking. The batteries are burning from the experience you went through with your mother, to the death of your father, to the crisis of 3 relationships, to trying to figure out how to raise a daughter.
2 daughters.
2 daughters while you're trying to heal yourself. How do you cope with feeling, and everybody having an opinion about all the stuff you're doing, you're crying on the internet and everybody's making fun how do you cope with being misunderstood?
I've gotten comfortable with being misunderstood. And I've been the beneficiary of being misunderstood. Because when people don't understand you, they want to stay away from you.
Okay.
Oh, he weird, he this, he that. Oh, thank you. I would rather be at dinner for 3 hours with Bishop T.D. Jakes. Mm-hmm. Because at this point, I value my time. I value my mental health. I value the people that I allow in my space. Mm-hmm. And so I have this very simple saying: if I do a lunch or a dinner with you and I leave the same person that I showed up as, give me my 3 hours back.
Yeah.
My goal in life at this point is to become very intentional about who I allow in my personal space, who I allow myself to exchange with. And this is not money. This is not about everything about who I spend time with has to be connected to a mission, how we gonna get to the money. No. Because most of the most life-changing moments and exchanges that I've had over my 46 years has nothing to do with having conversations about how to get to the money. Mm-hmm. I don't know what I don't know, and I am afraid at this point of what I don't know. I need somebody to love me into a better me. Give me the heads up of what's around the corner. Talk to me in great detail about the choices and the mistakes, the shortcomings, the things that you were blindsided by, the charm, the charisma, the undiscovered magicians that know how to create all the smoke and get you to think and believe that they are what they appear to be. And then when the smoke clears, this is what their intentions were. Love me in a way that's connected to protecting me, because I'm tired of crying. I'm tired of coming close to losing it all. I'm tired of living and being on edge. I'm afraid of what I don't know. And who's gonna love me enough? Who's gonna make me a choice and say, let me love you to protect you from all the things that you don't know?
Chapter.
And I want to add on to that, because they was speaking about the concept about being misunderstood. Now I can relate to this a whole lot. When I was going through my divorce, right, the biggest thing that I kept reiterating over and over again is that people just misunderstanding me. They don't understand my plight. They don't understand the things that my ex-wife was doing to me at that time. Well, she was being slanderous. She was at that time I had a Facebook. She was going on Facebook online and all kind of crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? And so I kept reiterating over and over again that y'all just misunderstanding me. Y'all misunderstanding me. But I had realized this. I realized the reason why I was trying to fight so hard for people to understand me or understand my plight is simply due to social acceptance. When I realized that, right, that's when I started working on myself to get rid of trying to people to understand me. That's when I started working on that. At the end of the day, social acceptance is just an illusion. You know what I'm saying? That's when I realized that I had to kill all of that altogether in order for me to heal and move forward. Because that social acceptance thing is a hell of a drug, for real. It really is. And so I had to work on removing that out of my immediate space and my immediate reality. I had to come to the conclusion that forget people, fuck people. People are going to think what they think about me, and I can't do absolutely nothing about that. And it's fine. It's okay. Same thing with y'all who are watching right now, right? Same concept. Maybe it may be some people who may be doing the same thing to you, you know what I'm saying, in your space, and you trying to get people to accept you or to believe you and stuff, but it have to come to a point of time where you as an individual have to put yourself first, where you have to be selfish and put yourself first and say, hey, my mental health matters the most, greater than trying to be understood, greater than trying to be socially accepted by people who don't give a damn about you anyway. I'm just saying.
Number 7 deals with life after divorce. It deals with current relationships. So if you didn't have a point of reference at home in the arms of a mother or sitting on the lap of a father, and you didn't have a point of reference in the 3 relationships, not saying it's their fault, but it didn't work out, what's different about this one that gives you the hope of finding the love that little boy? I'm not talking about the grown man, the actor who's driving fast and furious. That has anybody ever loved your little boy? And do you think you found that person?
What's interesting, here's the best way I could answer that.
Because you're speaking for a lot of men. There are a lot of men who feel the way you do.
Wow. I don't know how much I could connect to the current relationship that I'm in this capacity. I'm actually surprised and shocked that my relationship had lasted this long, because it started with flirting, then it went into trauma bonding, and then it became just maybe God made you an assignment over my life and I'm an assignment over yours. I showed up broken. She showed up broken. We showed up with baggage, lots of baggage, but we made the decision that we're gonna love each other enough to stand here and help each other unpack.
Okay.
I'm
You're
not
welcome.
gonna judge you with the baggage that you showed up with.
Appreciate you
Don't
tuning in.
judge me with mine. We might argue and disagree about some of the stuff that's pre-existing traumas that we brought into the
You brought it
relationship.
with you, yeah.
Right? And so what do we do about where we are and what we have? And guess what? If we ultimately have made each other better, were we supposed to be in each other's life for just this period? Because we were here to prepare ourselves for who else is supposed to be here?
Yeah.
Or did we go through all of this live unraveling? Your parenting issues, my parenting issues, relationships that have put triggers and boundaries and trauma. Nobody ever talks to me that way. No one ever makes me feel, so now I'm now moving and operating within the comforts and discomforts of your past experiences.
I call it marrying your nurse. I call it marrying your nurse. The person that you went to get well, you don't recognize that there's scaffolding and not the building. Okay? And you walk off tearing up the building and living in the scaffolding. And it's hard to determine which one is which. A lot of prayer, a lot of discernment. I took my wife to every old woman I could find, including my grandmother.
Wow.
Let them smoke them, because nobody knows a woman like a woman.
Yeah.
Nobody knows a woman like a woman. And there are women who have the same kind of trauma stories that you have and have been through the abuse that you have. And when those traumas clash, the house burns down, sometimes with the kids in it. So you can't afford to marry the scaffolding after you built the house.
Wow.
Yeah. Some people are in your life for a season. Some people are in your life for a reason. And some people are in your life for a lifetime. I don't know what category she fits in, but you got to figure.
Well, T.D. Jakes, she obviously fit in the category of a lifetime if he procreated with her, obviously. So, yeah.
Figure that out, and you got to figure that out soon, because you're getting older.
Yes, sir.
And you're running out of time. And I say that with a face full of gray hair, that if you don't figure it out quick, it ain't gonna matter in a minute.
You just said something. Some people are in your life for a reason, others are there for a season, and it's important to recognize when people's seasons are over.
Right.
There's an expiration date on loyalty. Some of us want to hold on and hold on and hold on, and you know that this relationship is at capacity.
Right.
It's hit a wall. Nothing about this season that you're in right now makes sense to proceed with this person, but you want to hold on because you're familiar with it.
Yeah.
And so I've wrestled with all of those things.
Yeah.
But it all goes back to this, and I'll put a button on this. Irregardless of what we all may think or believe, we've created a checklist.
Okay.
What she looked like, the boom boom and the cow and what she dressed like, what she looked like, what her net worth is. Women, they call them a checklist. Men have checklists too. And I went into this relationship and I said, this woman does not check off a lot of boxes for me. And yet for the women that I did say have the majority of those checklists, where are they at now?
Right.
I could not have been more wrong.
Right.
And so maybe God in the equation of this woman has said, you thought you had it all figured out, but I'm gonna send you something that doesn't look, doesn't walk, doesn't talk, doesn't have any of these things according to this checklist that I've created. Next thing you know, we're at 5 years and I'm with this woman right now in a relationship that lasted longer than my last marriage.
Wow. Chapter number 8. You think it's just a movie or a show, but it's really a business. Show business. Tell me about.
All right, so once again, shout out to everybody who's tuned into the stream right now. We are reacting to T.D. Jakes' interview with Tyrese. He's given his anecdotal experience with his life, his relationship, and everything. And to be honest with y'all, I believe that this is a very, very mature conversation for real. And I'm enjoying this conversation a whole lot. And I know y'all also enjoying this conversation a whole lot because we're learning from this. And this is the reason why I had chose this content for tonight, is not only just for entertainment purposes, but I want us to learn from this situation. You know what I'm saying? One thing that T.D. Jakes was saying, and I can relate to, is this. He was speaking about trauma bonding, right? So those of y'all who've been following the lounge and stuff, like, y'all know I'm very transparent on what happened with my divorce, right? But however, there was a moment in my life after the post-divorce period where I ended up experiencing a trauma bonding relationship. I knew that this woman that I was trauma bonded with, I knew that she had issues. She was a baby mama. Well, you know, single mother, whatever stuff right there. She had some mental issues going on, and you know, different things like that. Right? I knew that. I knew she had issues. But however, I'm still dealing with my post-divorce issue and decided to trauma bond and get into a relationship with this said woman because in my mind, right, I was thinking that, hey, we're both bonding together. Maybe I can help her transition to where she need to be at. Lo and behold, it did not work out that way, period. And ultimately, I ended up conceiving a child with this woman. So we're not having a trauma bonding relationship, we end up having a trauma bonding child as well too. And we're not married. And we didn't get married. The relationship ended off of a toxic situation. So I can relate to going into these trauma bonding relationships. Old school people, they call it this. They call it rebound, if I'm not mistaken, a rebound relationship. Because that's exactly what it was. And once again, I don't mind being transparent and sharing y'all my experiences in dealing with relationships because I already held myself accountable for all the choices and decisions that I have made. I done learned from it. I done moved on. And it made me a better man. And also by me sharing this with y'all, it would give y'all a clear perspective on how you should move and operate in your relationship if you choose to do so. Because once again, I don't see a lot of people being real transparent about the decisions that they've made, especially men, to be honest with you. Men, some of my brothers, I see it all the time over here where they'll make so many excuses for the woman. They'll say women are feminists and all kind of stuff, which rightfully so, but they never don't hold their own self accountable for even getting with the woman to begin with in the first place. I'm just saying. But let's continue. Oh, also y'all, we're almost at 100 likes, y'all. If y'all, where we at? We're at 89 right now. We're at 89. Hey, those of y'all who are tuning in right now, just do me a favor. Just go ahead and just hit that like button. Let's get to at least 100. Help me at least get to 100 likes, all right? So go ahead and just double tap the screen. That's all I got to do, say boop, boop. It does it. That's all you got to do. It does help me to at least get to 100. Okay, appreciate it. Oh, I did want to read the chat real quick before we get into the next section. Miss Maya, she said this: I can attest to his upbringing by not knowing and understanding love because his upbringing. I eventually had to start forgiving with God's help, changing my association and lifestyle, and now I am at peace. Shout out to you for that. And she continued to say this: after all of my toxic relationships, once I admitted to my issues, my biggest requirement in men eventually became this: we had to be able to go to God, the Bible, to help us through our issues. Shout out to that, and shout out to you being transparent and sharing that with us. Thank you so much. Now, those of y'all who are not sub to this channel, this is the reason why I am strongly pushing you to go ahead and sub up to this channel right now, so you can be able to participate in the chat and we can have these thought-provoking conversations. Regardless if you agree with the topic or not, by all means, you can participate in the chat. But let's continue.
About the role you wish you'd have took that you did. TV, film, whatever. And you look back at it and say, I should have took that.
Well,
thank y'all so much for getting me to 100. Thank you. I appreciate that.
oh, I don't really know if there's a role I should have took that I struggle with over
Tracy, welcome.
the role
That you did take.
that I'm determined
Oh,
to still do.
okay.
The life story of Teddy Pendergrass.
Okay.
That's the movie that keeps me up at night. I was the pallbearer at his funeral. I was with him for at least 6 years prior to him passing away. And he said, "You're the only person that could play me in a movie, because even though you sing and you act, you never wanted to be me." And he's like, "I would never want anybody to play a role of me as Teddy Pendergrass, who groomed and nurtured and tried to sound like me, look like me, perform like me. You were you the whole time, and that's why I want you to play me in the movie."
Amazing.
So Lee Daniels is attached to direct it, because him and Teddy are both from Philadelphia. And so, you know, it's in a gray area right now. There's some stuff that's going on creatively that's kind of put the project on hold. But I hope and I pray that I'm able to keep my word that I gave him, that I'm going to tell his story.
What kind of man was Teddy Pendergrass?
He was a good man.
I grew up, my brother used to have these 8 tracks with Teddy Pendergrass on them, and he would turn them up all the way to 10.
Yes, sir.
And play them, and he was the man.
Yes, sir.
Famous, incidentally, for wearing white suits and you got on a white jacket. And he performed.
With his cowboy hat.
Yeah. When I met him, he was in a wheelchair doing gospel plays.
Yeah.
You watched his deterioration. There's nothing like deterioration to show your inner ingredients. In a word or two, without divulging anything private or personal, what kind of man was he?
Charming, charismatic. You know, I've been around my share of people
Right.
that are in a wheelchair or living with some type of terminal illness, and you'd be surprised at how often they go out of their way to make sure that nobody feels sorry for them.
Right.
And Teddy was that guy. "Don't feel sorry for me. What's going on? How you doing?" "Oh, yeah, you know, yeah, whatever you going through. I mean, you ain't going through this."
Right.
You know, so he'll be the one to give you some perspective while he's laying in the bed quadriplegic, paralyzed from the neck down.
Right.
And then you leave there and you go, "Well, yeah, you know, he gave me some perspective that I did not have." But yeah, he didn't want anybody to feel sorry for him and his condition, his situation. He'll have conversations with you about it.
Mm-hmm.
But he never wanted you to leave feeling sorry for him, because he found strength and the choice that God kept him alive as long as he kept him alive, because he could have died in that accident.
there is a certain fraternity that seems to exist amongst talented actors, singers, what have you. Either it's a very good fraternity or they're beefing at each other. You seem to have had a great fraternity. And what about The Rock? Tell me about The Rock. 60 pounds. He lost 60 pounds. I saw him on TV. I almost didn't recognize him. Tell me about that. How, number one, how hard is it? And is he going to gain it back?
I don't know anything about his weight loss. I seen it online like everybody else. I'm not in touch with him to call him and have a conversation with him about. But it's my understanding that he lost all the weight for a movie role.
For a
he's
movie
playing
role.
a wrestler of some sort. And yeah, I'm sure if he lost all that weight for the role, then he'll probably be putting it back on for his next role.
You probably don't remember this, but that's one of the first things you told me in California when we were going out to eat, how you eat sometimes and gain weight and do what you got to do and then go in the gym and work it off.
The sweet sweat.
Yeah. That's back in your baby boy days. yeah. We ain't even going there. We're going to stay out here where the air is fresh. What was Will Smith's advice to you?
Will Smith said, you can often tell how far your life and career will go based on the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Wow.
So if you have a problem with your life, you should have a problem with the 5 people that you have surrounded your life with. If you're out of shape, you likely reflect the group of people that allowed for you to look that bad.
That's true.
What you're doing, what you're not doing, the direction you're going in, what direction you're not going in, is all a reflection of the 5 people that you spend the most time with.
That's a profound statement.
Oh yeah. So
that's worth writing down.
Yeah, that's true. That is absolutely true, y'all. And so basically what they're saying is this. In your immediate circle, they should be holding you accountable for the choices and decisions that you're making for your life, whether it's dealing with your physical health, with your mental well-being, and your spiritual growth. You know what I'm saying? That's what should be happening, operating. If these people are in your life and they're not challenging you like that, they're not holding you accountable, y'all not holding each other accountable for that, then you need to get rid of them for real, because they're not true to you at all, period.
Yeah.
And remembering, because sometimes it is easier to see your brother than it is to see yourself.
That's it.
And sometimes seeing him helps you to see yourself. I only got one more card and I'll be done. Chapter number 9. I couldn't let Tyrese go without asking him, how's your mental health? How is your mental health today?
Fragile.
Okay. That's a terribly honest answer.
Yeah. It's fragile. It's fragile because.
So real quick, Chuck, I'm gonna ask y'all the same question. How's y'all mental health this evening?
Because I'm still processing my divorce.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like where I am financially because of a 4.5-year legal with all, it's bad. And at the same time, my life could only, I feel like, how could I say this? I really want to encourage somebody with what I'm about to say. So, think of me as a rock.
Okay.
And then there's this, what do you call those things that, you know, the slingshot, right?
Yeah.
So in most cases, the slingshot is a stick and 2 things that go at the top. And then there's a rubber band on each side and then the rock. So I feel like my life right now, literally, I'm stressed, I'm on edge, anxiety, I'm unsure, I'm praying, I'm certain, I'm inspired, I'm motivated. I got this cocktail of all of these different things that I am feeling, and I'm the rock that's inside of this slingshot, and the rubber band is Jesus, stretching me all the way back. And then when he lets go, I'm gonna get thrusted into a level that I've been praying for, my heart has been desiring. So being stretched to the level of depletion, mentally, emotionally, financially, psychologically, I'm in that exact place right now.
10 years from now, what does success look like for you?
Impact.
Impact.
I'm not motivated by nothing else but impact.
Impact, define it.
Before I take my last breath, I have this overwhelming sense of getting all these visions and ideas out because they belong to me.
Yes.
They're mine. These are my assignments. And I'm supposed to empty myself of all of these things and all of these experiences that I want to create for the world. And that's what keeps me up at night. And so I want to open a movie studio here in Atlanta, the one and only studio that's actually open to the public. On the charitable front, I got so many more things that I want to do to impact the world, from giving, and nothing temporary, something that's going to be in place. I want to put trades in place for prison inmates when they get out, teach them a trade so that the concept of them winging it once they get out, because there's so many of us that are capable of doing it, but we just don't have any trades. Like, teach me something that's connected to how I can survive. So as the market continues to go up and down, I'm something that's self-sufficient and independent of a Bitcoin.
Our reentry program has seen over 40,000 formerly incarcerated people go through our program, most of which who came out with jobs, had their records expunged, did family reunification, anger management, everything was necessary to keep them from going back. The rate of recidivism is amazing, one of the best in the country, because we took the time to walk them through a 2-year process to help them to acclimate. One of them, I was talking to one of them myself. Yeah, you're talking to the right guy. Yeah. I was talking to one of them, and he says, show me how to use a phone. Because when he went in, we had pay phones. When he came out, we had Apple phones. You know, there's so many simple things. When he went in, he was married. When he came out, he was divorced and she was remarried. When he went in, the world was totally different. You know, we were busing and training. When he came out, we were flying, and now our cars are being driven without people in them. The world is changing so fast.
So fast.
In the midst of the change, I want to say this to you. I pray you find everything that God has for you, that gives you peace, that gives you joy, that gives you wholeness, that gives you mental health, that gives you peace, that makes you dance in the rain. The kind of happy that not seen in a movie, just a happy man dancing in the rain. Thank you for this time together. Yeah. I really mean it. I really mean that for you.
Thank you, sir.
I really want you to have that.
Thank you, sir.
That was amazing. That was amazing. That was powerful.
Thank you, sir.
That was powerful, and it was real. It was real.
My honor, sir.
Give me a hug, yeah. Thank you. I hope you got something out of it.
Oh, yeah, beyond. Like,
Yeah.
my life changed.
You spoke for so many men.
That is the end of that, y'all. That is the end of that. So y'all let me know what y'all think about this whole entire interview with Teddy Jakes and Tyrese. Now, one thing that I want to share with y'all is this. I want to share with y'all that once again, everything that I talk about on this channel, when I'm talking about red pill ideology, the philosophy behind it and stuff, this particular interview was a model of that for real. One of the biggest key takeaways that I want y'all to get out of this as well too is that notice that even though Tyrese was dealing with this stuff, right? He's saying he's still dealing with the situation that he deal with right now, right? Notice the whole entire time, he didn't blame his former wives or spouse or anything like that for the choices and decisions that are happening. He didn't do it at all, period. He understood what was going on, and he took accountability for his part in it, and he's doing his best to process and move forward. My brothers, this is what it is about you moving past the red pill rage that many of y'all are feeling right now. Because trust me, I know, because y'all be telling me all the time on my shorts when I be putting out different videos, right? Y'all express it every single time. But this how it look like getting past the red pill rage, getting past, blaming the women, because they feminists and they using the system and all the stuff there, which granted, I understand it. It's needed, but we have to move past that. We have to move past that, and we have to hold ourselves accountable for the decisions that we made or we played a part in that, so we can personally heal and move on. And that's what it's all about over here at the lounge, where we're going to have this conversation and we hold people accountable for the choices and decisions that they make, period. So if you enjoy this content and you're not sub up to this channel, you are going to miss a lot for real. So go ahead and sub up to this channel right now so you can be engaging into the thought-provoking conversation. Also, make sure you check out all my past live streams that I have did as well too, and you let me know what you think about them as well too. Shout out to everyone in the building. I did see a question on her. I wasn't sure if Grateful was trying to ask me this question or Teddy Jakes. All right, but I'm gonna want to address it. It said, Pastor Jakes, I have learned a lot from you over the years. My brother, can you tell us about our ongoing struggle with sin and your thoughts about how Jesus has the victory for us? Now, once again, I don't know if you're asking Teddy Jakes this or you're asking me this, my perspective on this. But since the question is here, I address it since I'm the host of the show. This is my perspective on this. The reason why we struggle with sin, and we talking about on the biblical perspective, right? The number one reason why we struggle with sin is because we are transgression against the Most High God, law, statutes, and judgment for our life. We're living in a current reality where anything can go. It's just wild, wild west. You can do whatever the hell you want when you want without holding yourself accountable for the choices and decisions that you make. That's the reason why a lot of us are in sin. We're unstable when we need to be stable. We're ungrounded. We're uprooted when we need to be rooted. We should have a foundation when many of us either have a crack in our foundation or the foundation has been completely destroyed. And it could be due to, your experience in life and whatever that you dealt with in life. That's fine. But it comes to a point where you need to go back and reevaluate yourself. Go back and reevaluate yourself. Then when you do that, hold yourself accountable for the choices and decisions that you have made. Those of y'all who are spiritual, you could say repent or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's fine. But hold yourself accountable, move on, and just be a better version of yourself. That's how the way you could get out of sin and be in the presence of the Most High. Those of you who believe in that. All right. So, yeah. And yeah, also, yeah, repent, the kindergarten, blah, 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 and all this stuff there. But that's my perspective on that. That's why I believe that we are in the condition that we are in right now. And when I'm saying we, I'm not talking about everybody. I'm talking about certain people. Okay. But yeah. So other than that, y'all, thank you so much for tuning in to the show. Make sure you have your notifications set when I do go live again so we can have this thought-provoking conversation again. So until then, I will see you again on the next episode. Thank y'all so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.